with the laser zeroed at 100, how high right are you holding at close range? So this is going to be laser specific. The easiest way to find your hold off is to turn your vis laser on, go to a target, put your barrel on the target, mark where the laser is, mark where your barrel was, and that's your hold off out to about 7 or 8 yards. And then you can just do a little bit of testing or a little bit of math if you're a nerd, which I kind of am, to figure out the holds at different distances. But typically that's how I would create my CQB hold off for my laser. Put the barrel on the target, turn the visible laser on, mark where the laser is, mark where the barrel is. That distance, high and right or high and left, depending on what laser you have, is your mechanical offset, if you want to think of it that way, for your laser. And again, that's converging, but at 8 yards, it's going to be about the same. And then just go shoot it on paper to confirm. Parallel versus converging zero for visible and IR for Fed tax team primarily doing warrant services. I always prefer converging zero. The reason being is that in my experience, infrared and visible lasers do not hold a zero that well. And so if I use a converging 100 meter zero, which is where my rifle is also zeroed, I can simply laze something at 100 meters before mission and then turn on my visible laser and confirm that both of them are still zeroed. And if you look at that, the divergence out, windage wise out to 200 yards is only the height, the width over bore for the laser. So it's negligible. So for 200 yards to 250 yards, there's no issue with using a converging zero. Parallel zeros are great in theory, but they just don't seem to hold up in practical application for an AR-15. When shooting low light, do you prefer using momentary or constant? I use a pressure switch on my carbine, and I activate it with just pressure. It's not a click on, click off kind of constant thing. The reason being that, when I'm done using that light, I turn it off immediately. So it doesn't, trace up from the low ready all the way up to target. I turn the light on when it gets to target. I scan my sector. When I finish my sector, I turn the light off, and then I put my gun down. So constant is more of an administrative tool, in my opinion. Momentary, meaning with the pressure switch, is probably what I would go with. What are the washers you use to secure your weapon-mounted light to your rifle? So this is in reference to taking a Surefire light apart. It'll have 2 holes on the back. There's screws. I can't remember the thread count. You can Google it. I'm certain it's on the internet. But for the and then you can basically mount that to your AR-15 rail from the outside, and you screw in from the other side with washers and screws. So the light is mounted as flat as it possibly can be to the rifle. For the washers, I just use whatever is the appropriate size to where it won't slip through the hole, through the rail slots. And the key to that is making sure they're stainless steel. If you don't use stainless steel ones, they will rust as soon as they get hot. They'll just turn into a big rusty mess. So any stainless steel washers will work.